Divorce Dad Diaries, day 152 and 153, and man, that day 150 really just flew me by. It's actually coming up on 5-month anniversary, I think tomorrow, Wednesday. But what's funny is that when I started this, I really only intended to do 5 videos. I think I mentioned that a couple of times before, especially on the 5th video. But it was just going to be over that Easter weekend when I first separated from my ex-partner. And the thing is, I've logged I guess parts of my life before, but the thing is I would do it on Facebook. I would do these Facebook posts like lockdown log or renovation log, or that time the kids went to my mother-in-law's for 5 days. Or sometimes I would just write random stories, and I just thought, you know what, this time around, let's do something different, let's record it. And the rest is history. But what I want to do today is I want to revisit some of my old Facebook posts. Just a few select ones, just so you can see that really I haven't changed. Right, so this first one, it's from 6th of September 2022, so 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago to the day. And I actually titled this one, The Unseen Risks of Working from Home. It was a quiet Tuesday morning. Potato bake was on the lunch menu, and I thought I'd use my morning break to slice some potatoes. Little did I know that 15-minute break was going to turn into 90 minutes of drama. You see, I use a mandolin to slice potatoes. It's much easier, much more consistent. Google it if you don't know what that is.
It's one of these things.
I've always been super careful and used a guard, but this morning, in my distracted state, I forgot to use protection. Something I've been known to do at least 4 times.
After almost slicing off a chunk of my thumb, I rushed to apply a plaster, which immediately bled through, so I applied another, and another. At this point, I decided I might need to go to the pharmacy and pick up some bandages.
I spent a solid 5 to 10 minutes staring at my options at the bandage section in the pharmacy. Seriously, why there's so fucking many? Before a staff member approached me. I explained the situation, at which point she informed me the responsible thing to do is to go to the doctor's centre next door and get someone to have a proper look at it.
Begrudgingly, I complied. Fortunately, the lady at the front desk was happy to help, and before I knew it, I was in the back with 2 nurses.
The first nurse informed me I'd made the right decision and said they'd need to do an ACC claim. The second nurse spent at least half the appointment laughing at the excessiveness of it all. Of course, I was totally on board with nurse number 2. It was just a small cut, a flesh wound, and after waiting some time, the doctor eventually saw me. I showed the doctor the cut, to which his response was, seriously? Half a minute later, I was bandaged up and on my way back home, now $35 poorer with what might be the most expensive bandage I've ever paid for. In summary, I went back to work and the potato bake turned out just fine. And I included a picture, which I'll put here, and I included a picture of my thumb as well, all nice and tightly bandaged up. There's really not much more to say about that post. It covers it beautifully. I still have a scar on my thumb from that moment.
Also, shout out to this comment from my ex.
Use a guard when you're using a mandolin. That's the moral of that story. These next 2 are going to be considerably shorter, but still some of my faves. So this one was from 10th of August 2020, so 5 years ago now. And it says, "Today I encountered a primary school child, saddened that his toy had gone into someone's yard. He asked if I could get it for him. It was just inside the fence line. Unfortunately, the fence was about 5 feet tall, so there was no way I was reaching the ground from our side. Fortunately, another primary school student who was taller than me was passing by, so I recruited his help. Today I learned that if there was a show called Are You Taller Than a 6th Grader, I would lose." And I included this picture from Lord of the Rings, which I had edited, which I think conveys the situation pretty well. And it's still like that. I swear to God, there are kids at my kids' primary school that are taller than me, which frankly isn't much of an achievement, but it's still jarring. And this last one I picked because I felt it would be more of a trip down memory lane for those of us who lived in New Zealand. And it's 26th of March 2020, 5.5 years ago, and states, Lockdown log, day 1. Every day I'm going to post about something that I did the day before, because why the fuck not? Enjoying the little things is important more now than ever. Day 1. Printed off a calendar for the kids. This way they can visualise what day it is and whether or not we're going to do something that day. So far, it hasn't stopped them from asking me what day it is all the time, but small steps. And I included a picture of a calendar. It's weird to think that was 5 years ago and we're still living through the after effects of that. And in fact, my youngest child wasn't even around back then, and he starts school next year. But that was a fun little snippet of some memories. This week, I'm actually hoping to catch a friend. He's coming down from Palmy. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him in over a year. And of course, I'm going to try to patch that hole in the wall. But otherwise, I will catch you on the flip side.